the button, and it did the things, and here we go. Happy Sunday, everyone. Thanks for finding the Geek Spot with us, bringing you all the latest news. It's a special Sunday night show. I'm Jack. That's Frank over some direction, whichever direction this thing points. So if you're joining live, appreciate, as always, coming in for the conversation.
Look, I'm wearing my official start of the NFL season Hulk high.
Was there a game on Thanksgiving one year?
There was. And I scored 4 touchdowns in one game.
That's great. I will visit your shoe store soon.
That's what I should be doing.
You should. So thanks, everybody, for joining us. If you're listening to the audio version, thanks for there. Make sure you hit like, subscribe, tell a friend, wherever you get your podcasts and are listening. There he is.
Pretty sure. Oh, I figured.
Dom, we figure most of the NFL games are in between, and the only one I care about isn't for another hour or so. So we're gonna get some news in.
Yeah, Frank's got a busy week this week, so we decided to pull, I guess, pull early.
We did all the things to all of them.
We pulled out early this week, and we're pulling out on a Sunday. Frank has a. Neither one of us are good at that, but
I'm gonna leave that there for a minute.
Neither one of us are really good at that.
Yeah.
I have a hockey game Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, and Friday night this week. So I'm going to be a puddle of mess.
That sounds like it. So in the meantime, though, Frank does have a busy week of not watching stuff. He said he was going to watch Fear the Walking Dead, but then you did it for him, Dom, so he's not going to do that now.
Never, ever, ever said that, and I could not read a chat faster.
So we have some stuff for you all. This was a little bit of last-minute throw together, so not quite as much as usual, but maybe some more of some things, and some finales, some Season 2 Part 2s dropped. I'll hit all that shortly. In the meantime, while your week coming up is busy, Frank, what have you been up to this week?
I'm sorry, I'm posting this so maybe more than one person comes and watches, but what have I been up to? Well,
all the people are watching.
It's been a week. It's been a little bit of a week. I bought a Raspberry Pi. You know what Raspberry Pi is?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I am tired.
But for the people that don't know what a Raspberry Pi is,
yes,
they might think you're just hungry.
I am very hungry, but that's different. No, a Raspberry Pi is a little mini computer. Okay, it's about this big. They're small. They're pretty powerful. They're really good for a lot of stuff. And I am incredibly tired of seeing commercials. When I watch the wrestling programs, Friday night, in the first 60 minutes of the program, there had to be 32 minutes of commercials. It felt like it did, and it's split screen, and then they go off, and then like there's important stuff happening in a match, and then they go into a split screen in a commercial, and you can't hear. So there's a way around that. Get a VPN, and you watch on Netflix from another country.
Got it.
Which is typical of a VPN. So I bought a Raspberry Pi, went through the whole setup thing, and then found out that I have Apple TV. I have the little Apple TV box. And I could just download the VPN that I got on the Apple TV box, turn it on there, download Netflix, and watch it that way.
Oh, you're doing a great job.
Yeah, no, so it was good. I learned a little bit as an IT professional about the VPN for that. And it keeps me in Apple more. And I'll watch some Apple stuff, you know?
Good. There's plenty of stuff. Apple has a lot of great shows. There's Chief of War going on. There's a new season of Foundation, Invasion. There's so many things.
I did that. I didn't really do much else this weekend. I drove over to Matt's to swim, and the minute we stepped into the pool, it The skies opened up, and rain fell. We got out of the pool, went back in the house. The sun came out. So we were just like, screw it.
Did you get a lightning delay as
No, we
we
did
did
not
for the season opener of the NFL?
No, no lightning delay here.
I don't know if I've ever seen one of those before in the NFL.
I don't think I've seen it in the NFL before.
Yeah, that was wild. A nice long delay before the Eagles finished.
But the Philadelphia Eagles did finish off.
Hawk tuning all over the Dallas Cowboys.
All over. There was a ball stolen from a fan in the crowd.
There was. There's a lot of people that think they know who that is too, and so far I believe they've all been wrong.
All wrong. This whoever. So just to backtrack real fast, because we don't do a lot of sports, but we do a little bit here and there. The Phillies are in Florida. They played the Marlins. I believe it was yesterday it happened, or was it Friday?
It's Friday night.
Friday night. Weston Wilson, of all people, hit a home run. It bounced off a seat. Gentleman walked. Huh?
I thought it was Bader.
It was Bader. I'm sorry. I apologize. I barely caught it. And a guy walked over, grabbed the ball that was rolling around on a chair, and handed it to his son, whose birthday was. Phillies fans. That's awesome. But this woman in a Phillies jersey came storming over with the Karen haircut and gave him an earful and wouldn't leave. So he was just like, whatever, here's the ball, go. Phillies and Marlins both made it right. Harrison Bader met with the kid after the game, signed a bat for him. The Marlins gave them like a gift package for that. It went completely viral.
Oh yeah, it's all over.
It's everywhere. It's everywhere that it's too much now.
Agreed. 2 days later, and we're still in.
Right. It's 100%. Dom is 100,000% right. Dom said you give the ball to a kid unless it's a historic moment. 100,000%. This lady was 1,000,000,000% wrong. Not to mention it's the kid's birthday. If you watch a baseball game and you see a ball hit, foul ball, and a ball girl runs and gets it, or ball person, they give it to a kid all the time, every time. That's what you do. And this thing has gone completely viral. And unfortunately, the internet decided they figured out who the person was, who was in Florida, and wrongfully identified her as someone in New Jersey. And all this misinformation, and this poor person that got misidentified is getting threatening messages and Facebook posts, and it's such a shame.
Yeah, even the school district in New Jersey is like that. Nope, not her.
Yeah, no. So, that's what I did this weekend.
Yeah.
On top of, I really, really am trying to get through a TV show that I'm going to talk a tiny bit about without spoiling.
Can't wait to hear about the TV show that you're watching. That's not a rerun.
No, it's not. What about you?
So I spent most of the week out in the schools in the local school district doing a bunch of recruitment sessions. So playing upright bass for the week to try and improve the orchestra and band programs, recruit to 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders. So
Nice.
did a bunch of that, managed to squeeze in some shows, watched season 2 of Wednesday dropped, so I'll hit that up in a bit. Watched that, played some gigs this weekend. Good times with that. And yeah, that's not a ton. It was a lot of doing that stuff. Almost like working all week doing that. So that's where I was this week. And yeah, so I think we have a list to kick things off. Then I'm trying to finish up The Office so I can get to that new show. Maybe not. I guess we'll see how the new show sounds, and then we'll go from there.
We will. We're gonna do two of these quick lists here. This is from Screen Rant. This is 10 underrated fantasy TV shows that you need to watch.
All right.
It's underrated. Okay. We'll see if I've seen any of these. It's always fun. Coming in at number 10 here is The 10th Kingdom.
What's The 10th Kingdom, Frank?
Right. It's a magical miniseries that blends fairy tales with modern adventure.
It sounds
It's an
interesting.
ambitious NBC miniseries that follows Virginia Lewis and her father, Tony, played by John Larroquette, as they're swept from New York into the Nine Kingdoms, a fantastical world where fairy tale politics and danger collide.
Well, this was in 2000.
This was in 2000.
Okay. Does this stream anywhere?
I don't know. It doesn't actually say if it streams anywhere.
Might be hard to catch some of these things if they're not streaming, but
It probably...
Diane Weist was in it.
Really?
Yeah.
It didn't give me all
Rutger
that.
Hauer, Ed O'Neill,
Rutger Hauer's in it? Yeah.
Cameron Manheim, Anne Margaret, Warwick Davis.
10th Kingdom is...
Look, that sounds fantastic.
You can buy it on both Amazon and Apple TV.
Great.
It is free with ads on the Roku channel.
Okay.
I'm just scrolling through the... Yeah. Well, it looks like it's free with ads on Amazon on Prime Video too.
Okay.
Okay, so there you go.
Look,
Well,
that actually sounds like it was Once Upon a Time before Once Upon a Time.
Yeah. Yeah. At number 9, this is called Gallivant. This ran from 2016 to 2016 as a musical fantasy comedy that deserved a longer run. This was on ABC, is a gleefully irreverent mashup of medieval fantasy and Broadway-style musical comedy. Created by Dan Fogelman, that follows the dashing but down on his luck knight Gallivant on a quest to reclaim his lost love, accompanied by an eccentric band of allies.
Yeah, so this one was really big on ABC. They advertised this a ton. Timothy Omenson was one of the stars of this, but he had a stroke during one of the breaks as well.
Oof.
So I think that impacted this. Timothy Omenson from Psych.
Okay.
For anybody that watched that, he was the detective on Psych that they crossed paths with on a regular basis. Didn't end up watching Gallivant, but always had it on my list to dig back into.
I absolutely can say that I've never even heard of this. Nor have I heard of our number 8, Lost Girl. It ran from 2010 to 2015. This is a supernatural noir with a unique mythological twist. This is a Canadian fantasy series. This is drawing from global folklore rather than sticking to Western fantasy norms, and introduced viewers to a rich tapestry of supernatural beings.
So Rachel Scarston was on this, that we know from Batwoman.
Okay.
As Beth Kane, and also she was Black Canary on the original Birds of Prey show.
Okay.
Other than that, I do not remember this show at all or know this show.
Number 7, I remember hearing about. I never got to watch it. The Shannara Chronicles.
That was good.
2016 to 2017. This was a fantasy book series that got adapted to MTV. I heard this was actually pretty decent.
Yeah, I feel like this was in the vein of the Legend of the Seeker, which I really hope is on this list. Or the Hercules or the Xena style, the way they did this one.
Yeah, no,
and it was by Goff and Miller, who we will discuss later on, of Smallville fame.
Yes.
Oh, so this was actually recent. This was 2016. Okay.
2016, yeah.
Austin Butler was the star of that, and Manu Bennett was on that.
Okay. I know him.
Yeah, look, both of them. Austin Butler, famous for his work in Yoga Hosers.
Yep.
And as Elvis and in Dune. Some other big names in there too. Where John Rhys Davis was in this.
Oh, I know him too.
Yeah, a lot of people MTV decided to pay to pop by this show for a minute. It looks like.
Okay. At number 6, we have A Discovery of Witches. Ran from 2018 to 2002 or 2022. It's a romantic fantasy steeped in magic and history, adapted from Deborah Harkness's All Souls trilogy. Blends historical drama with supernatural romance. Centers on Dana Bishop, a historian and reluctant witch who discovers a long-lost magical manuscript and attracts the attentions of vampire geneticist Matthew Claremont, played by Matthew Good.
Yeah, I watched the first couple episodes of that show. It was good.
Okay.
It's on AMC Plus is where you can stream that now. Nice. But yeah, that was it was interesting. But I didn't stick with it as long as I probably could have.
This one I know I've heard of at number 5. Carnival Row ran from 2019 to 2023. This is a blend of Victorian inspired noir and high fantasy to Prime Video. Orlando
Conroe was
Bloom.
great.
Yeah, Orlando Bloom's in it. There's a human detective investigating a string of murders while Cara Delevingne's Visionette Stone Moss is a refugee fae caught in the web of political and personal struggle.
Yeah, it was a pretty cool show. It was plagued by a really long break. Like it
Uh,
was 2019, and it only ran from 2019 to 2023 because that's how long it took them to put season 2 out.
that sucks.
Because it was only 2 seasons. And it was one of those shows that like there was so much going on that a 4-year break did it zero favors in trying to keep up with it because it was very thick
Right.
from a mythology standpoint. But the first season, like I said, I thought was really good. I enjoyed it quite a bit. Gorgeous. The way it was shot and the storyline was pretty intriguing. A lot of this fairy versus human stuff and how they interact and like the class warfare and things like that. It was a neat show.
I'm going to bookmark this site just to keep this list. Just for the heck of it. Number 4, Shadow and Bone ran from 2021 to 2023, a richly woven fantasy that deserved more time to grow. Based on Lee Bardugo's Grishaverse novels.
It's still on my Netflix to be watched list.
Is it?
It pops up every day that it's like, you should watch this.
The only person I know off the top of my head that's in this is Ben Barnes.
Okay.
So that looks interesting. Kind of. Yeah. At number 3, we have His Dark Materials. Ran from 2019 to 2022. A faithfully visually stunning adaptation of a beloved series. This is HBO and BBC's adapted Philip Pullman's acclaimed trilogy with care and scale. Young Daphne Keane is in it.
Yeah, so this is where the Golden Compass is from. It's one of the books in that series that was originally done as a movie, The Golden Compass. His Dark Materials was good. It was another one where the season breaks were so long that it was hard to keep up with it. I watched the first season. I thought it was good, but then I feel like the second season was a really long delay, if I remember right. I might be wrong, but I feel like it was one of those ones that was like, oh, 2 years later, I liked it, but I didn't like it enough to come back after 2 years to watch the.
Yeah, and I hate when that plague shows like that. Number 2, I'm going to get some gruff for number 2, I think. This is a show called The Magicians. It ran from 2015 to 2020. This is a dark, unpredictable twist on magical academia. Someone I know nudged me quite often to watch this show, and I never did.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite shows of all time. It is fantastic. It gets a little off the rails by the end, but I think they knew that it was off the rails.
Right.
And you know that I don't mind when a show understands, like, and they're all either 100% bought in on the joke or they're bought in on the fact that it's off the rails and just run with it. But not off the rails in like a flash way, just in like,
Right.
we need to get to this point in the story, so we're going to do all this crazy shit to get there. But The Magicians is amazing. I was wrong about His Dark Materials. It was actually on pace. The first 2 seasons like ran a year apart from each other.
Okay.
But it never crushed it in the U.S. Like, it had very low viewership in the U.S. Good in the U.K., but very poor in the U.S.
The number 1 show is a show I actually wish I had gotten on board with when it started, after having seen many, many commercials on the Comet channel while I'm watching Stargate during the day, reruns.
Yeah.
Grimm, which ran from 2011 to 2017. It's a police procedural with a supernatural twist.
I don't know that Grimm was underrated.
Yeah, that's what I've gotten from looking it up. Bitsy Tulloch from Superman and Lois was in it. She met her husband.
Yeah, he was the star.
David.
Yep, David, that guy.
David Guintoli.
That sounds right.
Nah.
Yeah, he was great. Russell Hornsby's great on it. Sasha Royce was fantastic.
Yeah.
The whole cast was great. I was faithful for the first few seasons, and then it was like Monday nights, and I just fell off, or whatever night. Friday, it got moved to like Friday nights at 10.
Right.
Which was rough, but it lasted another like 3 or 4 years. Friday night at 10.
Yeah.
But it was cool. He was a descendant of the Brothers Grimm,
Right.
who all of their stories that they told were all true. They weren't fake. They were making it more palatable for people to hear them.
Mm-hmm.
So the story was only the Grimms could see monsters for who they really were,
Right.
and everybody else saw them as just normal people. So when he found out about his power, it was a well done show. But it's another one that again went off the rails as it went through. By the end, it was like, oh my god, why are they in outer space? Or I don't think it was outer space, but it was like that by the end, where we have to do a body swap, and then we have to do this, and then
I don't think I can go back and watch it now, but I would appreciate. I probably would have appreciated a little bit more had I caught it in its original.
Yeah, I wouldn't call a show that went 123 episodes and 6 seasons underrated.
No, well, I guess that's why it's at number one.
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah,
gonna do the
I thought it was
second
great though. Grimm is a really good show.
I'm not going to
Hey,
bother.
T.
We'll hold the second list till later. Hi, T.
T
Because you
joined
have,
just in time.
he's just in time for the best, most awesome part of the show. Because after you talk about that, I want to talk before you go into everything else. I want to tie into this.
I can't wait to hear your thoughts on the paper after The Office. So I did manage. I'm trying to knock through this so I can stop watching this godforsaken show. So we started up. First episode that I got to was Dwight Christmas. Oh, can you still hear me? I'm trying to fix my mic a little bit.
Yes.
Dwight Christmas.
Dwight Christmas was sensational.
Was it?
Oh my God, yes.
Okay.
Oh, he was the thing.
Yeah, so Jim was having issues with his shirts to be packed for the cold open because he has to leave work early to go to Philly. But the Christmas party's that day, but nobody planned a Christmas party. So Dwight's going to do a Christmas party. Oh, yeah, that thing. And then there's the side thing with Aaron and Peter getting it on because Aaron's never seen Die Hard. So what I did notice is, like, as they rewrote the Peter character in this, he's basically just playing Ed Helms from, like, season 2 at this point. That's all, or season 3. That's all he's doing.
With a cooler nickname.
Yeah. I think they've ignored the nickname now that Ed Helms is gallivanting around Thailand or the Caribbean or wherever his character is supposed to be on the show. And then Daryl mentions, as I got called out and crapped on last week for saying, hey, Daryl apparently has been forgotten by Jim for all this.
Yes.
Daryl gets hammered to call Jim out about him forgetting all about Daryl.
Couldn't ruin it for you. Couldn't ruin it.
And then we got Toby still dreaming of the Scranton Strangler and how they got it wrong. I'm hoping they tie that up by the end of the season. I'm sure they do. They're heavy-handed planting seeds all this season that they want to revisit by the end of the show.
Yeah.
And then we get the message: Andy's staying in the Caribbean for a few more weeks,
right?
Because it's just poor writing the way they moved him off the show for most of this season.
It was kind of awful, and it ruined his character.
100%. Like there's none of this lines up with anything Andy would do.
Oh, just wait till he comes back. It's even better.
Great.
Maybe if he comes back.
And then we get Peter reenacting Die Hard, like word for word, which was also weird. And then we get the Belsnickel.
Belsnickel was great.
Which is what you were so excited about.
Belsnickel was the best.
I feel like we had something like, earlier in the show, though, Dwight didn't reference the Belsnickel. I feel like he referenced, what am I thinking of?
Are you
Krampus.
thinking of, what did he reference?
I feel like he had referenced Krampus at some point earlier on, which is also German folklore.
Maybe. I mean, he did do the Earth Day guy. I can't think of his name off the top of my head. That wants to destroy Earth.
Yeah, I don't remember though. But and he had the Impish or Admirable game, which that was fun.
Yeah.
But then Daryl's just getting hammered in his office. Why? Because Jim's a dick.
Yeah.
Those are my notes as I went through this.
That's fair.
And then Dwight gets pissed off and quits the party because Jim is no longer there for him to try and entertain.
Yep. Because they're becoming.
And then Jim comes back because he realizes he doesn't have to go leave his family to hang out the night early in Philly.
Right.
He can leave it on a train at 5 a.m. Because I guess they have one car. Is that where we're at with this show?
I guess, because they're not rich. They're struggling.
Yeah, but are they?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. I mean, it's a family home. and dual income. I mean, not that she has a real job, but we'll pretend. And then Daryl calls Jim out, and Jim's like, "Oh," but tells Daryl in front of every other person in the office, "Well, I got you an interview at this other company that I'm doing," as
Well,
opposed to everybody else that works here.
nobody else expressed interest.
Well, he didn't tell anybody else until
Well, no, but
he
Daryl also is into sports, and I mean, who else in the office is into sports? Come on.
Look, I get it. Just Jim's still a dick.
All I know is if you think Jim's a dick in this episode, I can't wait to hear what you think about Pam in the next episode.
Yeah, we'll get there. Oh yeah,
I've been waiting so much for this one.
So when we get the whole time with Toby telling Nellie about the strangler case, that they start making out to get him to stop talking, which I'm guessing becomes a recurrent thing the rest of the season based on what I saw a few episodes down the road. So then, as you were asking, we get lice.
Oh my God. But before you start, since your take on Jim and Pam is the exact opposite of America's take on Jim and Pam, I knew that when we got to this episode, this would be a banner moment for the show.
Yeah, look, I mean, none of this surprised me. That Pam is an awful person. So yeah, Daryl, Kevin, and Jim are talking basketball at lunch. This was the first thing that felt like an office thing.
Right.
In the cold open for this, and we're still in short credit scenes at this point. But then Jim bites his lip during the cold open, and it's just a whiny bitch. That was weird. And then we get Pam struggling without Jim around.
But
one of the kids has life, and Daryl decides to break up with Val because he wants to go be a single guy in Philly. Cool. And Jim has an event with Dr. J that he's got to go to. But luckily, Jim is so rarely at home, even though it was part-time, but it feels like he doesn't work in Scranton at all anymore. So he did not get lice. So good for him.
He did not. No.
Yeah, with that beautiful head of hair that Jim has. No lice for him.
No.
But now Meredith is caught lice, and everybody freaks out and just assumes it's because she's so dirty. But she doesn't think the lice down there can move to the lice up there, so she doesn't think that's related or how she got it.
Not at all.
But she's not sure. But interesting people they picked to not get lice, which was Phyllis, Nellie, Kevin, and Daryl.
Right.
It's just interesting who they picked and did not pick to end up with it. So they go and hide in the warehouse for whatever reason. Meredith shaves her head, and Pam still hasn't told her because Pam is just an awful, awful human being. And waits for her to shave her entire head instead of letting her just shave them. And then, you can do something with that.
Mm-hmm,
No, I'm going to let her shave her whole head.
Mm.
And then Aaron has this mayonnaise cure.
Right, because she lived in the foster home.
Yeah, instead of just going and buying lice stuff, they get mayonnaise that Pam can't even get back into the house. Because Pam, all I've noticed so far with this is now that Jim works far away, they just make Pam super needy all the time, and she has to call Jim 700 times a day at his new job. Which is
a healthy relationship.
Yeah, it's really good. And Aaron and Peter, like I said, referenced again, the way they're interacting, it's back to what it was with Aaron and Andy when they first started. They've just replaced the Andy character with Peter for this season. They say, he's not going to be here. Let's hire somebody cheap to play his character all season that looks kind of like him, only a little better looking than Ed Helms. And then Pam answers a call in the office, and her mom rats her out that Cece has lice. And then Dwight keeps bug bombing himself. That was actually a funny bit.
Yeah.
In the office and then in his car later on. But again, I even noticed Pam's bothering the shit out of Jim all day while he's trying to work at his new job. And he's just the guy who has a wife that can't stop calling him all day long at work. I'm sure that's not going to backfire at any point.
No.
And then Meredith and Pam decides, I have lice, but I'm also an awful mother. So I'm going to go out to the bar all night instead and get hammered with Meredith. Who said we're going out for a beer, but we're going to sing karaoke and hang out all night while my poor children have no parents at home during the week so that I can go get drunk because Pam's
We never met anybody like that in our former job.
No. It was usually Sundays they did that.
Mm.
Uh,
Hmm.
so then we get to Suit Warehouse. Not super deep. Um, David apparently has picked Dwight to run the office, which they've never mentioned. Like at any point so far this season, like, hey, Andy's been gone
No,
for 2 months. Who's in charge?
so he's not exactly running the office, but they have always said in the past that Dwight is kind of the head salesman, right? They have mentioned that in the past.
Right. But every time that Michael like walked to his car, somebody was appointed as the new manager of the place.
Right, right.
Right.
They
And
never
every time anybody left for more than like a week,
right. So Dwight still, since the time that
he's the assistant to
Saber,
the regional manager still. But I feel like he wasn't
no,
because
actually
that was taken
he's
away.
not. Like so when the gun incident happened with Saber,
Yeah.
right? She took the manager away from him, and he has not been manager since. It's his dream. The only thing he wants in his lifetime is to be the manager of the Dunder Mifflin Scranton branch.
Yeah.
That's
No, I
been
know. But they keep putting. I get the lead sales part, but like next
right.
episode, like it's weird.
It
Um,
is.
like Andy's office is just hanging out and nobody's in it because, like I said before, if Michael like sneezed and went
Yeah.
out for a day, there was somebody covering and taking his
And there was
place.
that whole part of the episode where they had no manager and they were playing foosball in the office.
And
And
we had 2 full seasons of like somebody needs to manage the office at all times.
well,
Once
again,
Michael left,
I don't know if you know this yet. I won't say anything because I don't want to spoil the show for you. But
great because I'm so invested.
there is a good reason and there is an explained reason why it's going to drive you absolutely crazy.
I'm
You're
sure
going
it's
to
going to be
hate it.
awful.
I'm going to wait for you to find out on your own. I'm not going to say anything.
Great.
You're going to hate it.
I bet I will.
Oh my God.
So Daryl's leaving work early for his interview because nobody gives a shit about working at this office anymore.
Yep.
And Pam says, I can take the day because I'm worthless and don't really have a job. So she goes with him. And then Clark's now back from working with Jan and brings an espresso machine that Jan decided to buy the office.
Actually, in 5 more episodes, you'll find out why.
Okay. And apparently he's just been banging Jan the whole time, which again doesn't really track
Yeah.
to anything we knew about Jan before.
Well, Jan likes him young.
Yeah, it still doesn't. She liked them young and hot.
Well,
Like just young is different than like young and hot and
listen,
model like.
Clark had to film Hot Tub Time Machine. He needed to be away.
This would have been like her going after Dwight instead of Michael, like early, like.
Right. Correct.
And does she really like him young? She was with Michael for like 3 years. Anyway. So, and Meredith has a wig now because she shaved her head. So we actually kept the shaved head.
Yes.
Which is nice of the show to actually keep consistency in something for a little while. And then Erin starts avoiding Pete because she realizes she wants to bang him. So that's fun. So the office decides to try every single Nespresso flavor that they got, which I get. The Nespresso machines are pretty addictive when you get them. But like major foul for Daryl in so many ways, bringing Pam to the office. Like bro code foul, employee foul, interviewee foul.
Oh, bringing her down to Philly
Yeah.
so she could visit Jim. Yeah, that was.
Yeah, a lot of fouls without checking with Jim first before
That
you
was a
off.
surprise. That was a good surprise for Jim.
Was it?
No.
So then Dwight is going to try because David gives Dwight the suit account. So they go out to try and close this business at the office. So and pretending Clark is his kid so they can get the father-son thing. That all backfires. But then Clark decides to step up and close it as a good salesperson and get with the kid who's now running the business. That was fine. That was actually a clever take on that part. And then while they're down there, and then Daryl starts blowing his interview, kills a bunch of fish.
Kills a very expensive fish.
Yeah. Okay. With the basketball thing, I was like, I don't know why you would take an autographed basketball, probably by Dr. J, off the stand and throw it in. Okay.
Sure. Yeah, that didn't. Yeah.
Because Daryl's not dumb, so it's weird that like occasionally they make him do dumb stuff. I guess it's because of his interview nerves. I guess is their story. And then at Jim's office slips to Pam that they should move to Philly, or that they are going to move to Philly. So she gets all stressed, and then and when they get back to the office is destroyed because they decide to think about doing hardwood and get rid of all the carpet before they crash out, and then we ignore that in the next episode. So that's fun. I'll speed up for the next two because I did burn. Like I said, I'm trying to burn through the rest of this show to get to the paper. Customer loyalty. We get the Holy Grail letter that Jim left like years and years and years ago for Dwight that he completely forgot about, while Pam's calling him again while he's at work, as she does all day. Every episode, she just calls Jim all day to make sure that he still gets his screen time. They tear the whole warehouse up as they go. Some dude's just using it as a coffee mug.
That was a fun little thing.
Warehouse. That was fun.
A fun cold open.
Yeah. Then Nellie finally realizes that Aaron and Peter are going to bang soon. And Cece has this ballet recital. But Jim's in Philly. Again, seems more than part-time for her school recital that's in the middle of the day. So I don't know why he just didn't start the day up here and then go to Philly. Whatever.
I had a problem with that part.
Look, but at that age, school recitals and stuff, if it's a school recital, they are in the middle of the day because that's when they always have that stuff.
Yep.
So I remember having to go at like 10 a.m. to.
Oh, I know. I had to go for some of them too.
But yeah, so then Dwight realizes that Jim convinces Dwight that he's going to try and poach everybody, like he did Daryl. So he tries to make all of them sign to stay with Dunder Mifflin, and do loyalty. Works, and then they print out all of Daryl's complaints was their gimmick for this one. And again, this was when I was like, well, so Dwight's like, I guess, in charge of the office now, even though Andy's gone. You said that'll get explained, but it's kind of first time they've really referenced that like nobody's in charge of the office. And they do a little bit where Clark has to print out all the things, but they're on Windows 95, so it sucks. And they got a dot matrix printer. It was a funny bit, even though we've seen fancier copiers and new computers like multiple times through the show, but that's fine. So Pam doesn't know how to use her phone, which is not a surprise.
Yeah,
Which was, you've seen her use her phone before, and she's supposed to be an artist and all this kind of stuff, but takes a call in the middle of the recital, which doesn't surprise me for her because she's an awful human being. So instead of letting that go to voicemail, she answers it in the middle of the concert. And like just keeps calling Jim all day at the office. And then they have the meeting where they're talking about Aaron and Peter, which was weird. But that was back to something that would have happened during Michael's era, so like made sense that Dwight ran that meeting.
Yeah.
And then Dwight kidnaps Daryl. There's the milkshake video that they do. Toby's still trying to get with Nellie because we forgot about that for an episode or two. And now Jim and Pam are fighting because Pam's awful. And she's definitely going to get with the mic guy, the boom operator, because she's an awful person. And apparently, if you've ever seen 10 Things I Hate About You, I think they think that she is Julia Stiles and has chocolate-flavored nipples. So everybody wants her, is where we're at. Because there's like nothing about Pam that would make... No.
That's fair.
But the pretty boy camera guy, you can tell that'll come back, which then comes back in Junior Salesman, where they keep showing the documentary crew all of us. I'm like, I don't know why we need this subplot.
Yeah, I can talk about that bit when you're done.
I'm sure we'll get there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then this episode, we actually get the full credits, which is the first time in like 6 episodes there's full credits.
You're only getting part of the credits because that's a Peacock thing. I'm pretty sure that when the show aired, they always showed the credits.
Well, but I get it, but it's a shortened credits.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I don't know if they do
some
that.
Some episodes it's the full one, some it's shortened.
Sometimes when I watch other shows, I get that same thing. Like if it's a decent credit, they'll cut it and they'll chop it, and then it'll be okay here, and then it won't be there, and it's
I'll
weird.
Have to look. I'll go back and research that. But now Wallace is letting Dwight bring in a new salesman to replace Jim. So, and this whole episode was just those interview bits. It was kind of funny. Jim and Pam are still fighting. Clark keeps referencing the Kobayashi Maru, which I'm sure that you appreciated. And Jim, because they lost that client last episode, has to hit up Wallace for money to invest in Athlete, which Wallace says no.
Yeah, that lasted like 3 seconds.
Yeah, and apparently Dwight went to X-Men school.
Yes.
So cool. And interviews like Rolf, and he interviews Trevor, who tried to kill Oscar. So that's weird.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, not this episode was not great.
No.
And then he ends up hiring Clark, who like had already proved himself the last episode. So like in Dwight's rationale, it makes more sense he would have hired Clark after they bonded.
You would think, but he wanted
And
to get one of his friends in there.
yeah, but like I said, the way they've played Dwight's character out, like it would make sense. Like, okay, we're good now. You're going to be my protege, and I'm going to train you as the best salesperson ever. Fits more in character with Dwight than
Yes.
bring in all the other random people to surround himself with, like his cousin Mose, and that was weird. The whole Mose thing. When then we get a long bit of just Mose running out of the building for like 3 minutes. And then they hire Clark, and Pam continues to prove that she is just an awful person all around, and decides to haze Clark the minute that he sits in his new seat. And she's like, let's prank him because I'm awful. And I think it'll turn on the boom mic guy if we haze this poor innocent kid who's been banging Jan for a year. So yeah, and that was that whole episode. Like I said, that was a burner episode.
It was a fun. The hazing part was fun
Sure.
because Dwight took it a little bit further than what Pam wanted him to do.
Yeah, as expected.
Right.
Pam did something awful. Yeah. So that was that. So you started the paper.
I did. My thing on the paper will not be nearly as long as your,
I hope not.
your office thing. Let me just say this, okay? They connect this show to The Office beautifully. Absolutely beautifully. Within the first 5 minutes of the show, they connected. I'm not going to spoil it for you. I'm not going to tell you how, unless you really, really, really care.
Not yet.
If you want to go into it blind. But it's really well done.
Yeah, I'm hoping to finish The Office in the next like 2 weeks. So then I will go watch the paper.
Listen, the cast isn't a bad cast. I'm 5 episodes in, and I'm not blowing through these.
Yeah,
It's taken me some
because you want to
pause.
savor how good it is,
It's
right?
not. It's. I see a lot of people online talking about how funny and how charming and maybe it is at some point, and it's definitely a rough first season for me to get through. I'm trying my hardest to like this show, and I'm just finding it like it's just not there for me yet.
Hey, at least there's not 9 seasons of it that you got to watch through.
Right now, there's only one plus another at this point in time.
Yeah.
But
Well,
again,
only one available so far. They did announce that it already got picked up for season 2, which is weird.
it really, really does a really good job of why this documentary crew is looking at this business. Like they tied it in perfectly from The Office. So that's all I'm saying. Otherwise, it's a struggle, absolutely for sure to get through.
Can't wait.
I have one more episode of Strange New Worlds to go. That's the finale comes this week. One of the best shows on TV. If you're remotely interested in Star Trek.
Good to hear.
They did. Do you remember? I don't know if you watched it, but I'm sure you've seen pictures. The episode where Kirk fights the big green guy.
Yeah.
It's been memed to death. It's been. That's
no, I watched a lot of the original run.
Okay. This episode takes place on the exact same planet way before that happened. So there's a thing that happens, and it's one of the crew member from the Enterprise is stuck on that planet and finds a Gorn, and the Gorn look nothing like those big green silly putty costume, like nothing. These are like terrifying creatures, and there's a whole thing with it, and it's actually really well done. They basically redid Enemy Mine in a 34-minute episode.
Interesting. What are your thoughts on the potential that spinning off of Strange New Worlds, they redo the original series?
I think you can do some of the original series episodes, but I think you can also tell new stories. I think you can take this cast and as again, they've slowly introduced, you have Scotty's there, Uhura's there, Kirk's there, Spock's there. Kirk's in the universe, but
can you do anything and not hurt the canon that's already there for them?
They've done that already, where they've touched on things that are going to happen, and they've touched on They've introduced things that will
But
happen down the line. Like I can't see them remaking The City on the Edge of Forever.
but like, can there ever be stakes if you know that they all make it through all of the motion
It's
pictures?
very hard. It's very hard. Like
Right.
now, it's very hard because you know where Pike ends up in this.
Right.
You know where, like, you know, the security officer Laan Noonien Singh is a descendant of Khan.
Mm.
That's going to play it. That's got to play to things. You know where these characters end up. So no, I mean, is an episode where the Enterprise is about to blow up and Scotty looks like he might die and Spock's got this going on and oh my God, is he going to make it? Yeah, he's going to make it. But the episodes, they still make them in a suspenseful way where you're still like, oh shit. So I mean, that's good. That's good storytelling.
Yeah.
Even though you already have an end game.
Yeah, I mean, Supernatural did that for 16 of the seasons, where it was which one of them is going to die, and they would die, and then they'd be back in like two episodes.
Luckily, they're not killing anyone off. But there are characters in this show that have to disappear for Kirk's Enterprise to show up.
I did see one of the characters from Discovery is very pissed off that Strange New Worlds got a musical episode, and they did not.
Really?
Yes, he's very bitter because they were promised one and they didn't get there.
Oh, I didn't see that, but you couldn't do a musical episode with a show that serious. Discovery was a way more serious show.
Yeah, they wanted to, though.
Yeah, no, that wouldn't have worked.
Maybe it was somebody that had been on the CW shows when they used to do that with Supergirl and The Flash.
Maybe. But, anyway.
So, Strange New Worlds.
Great. Firing on all cylinders. What else did you catch this week?
Did we have any news that came through before we get to the rest of the recap stuff?
We didn't have we didn't look for news.
I will say there was one piece of news that I spotted. So Sophie Turner,
yes,
has been announced as the new Laura Croft.
Looks ripped.
For Tomb Raider coming up. So
she looks really good.
So you think she is good for Laura Croft?
We'll see. She looks like she's toned a lot. She's got a nice little 6-pack there. From the pictures I saw, I did see that. I thought that they had announced that already. I guess that had just been rumored and not officially announced.
Yeah, I saw it in the news quite a bit last week. So like official.
Gotcha.
Yeah, September 3rd it came out. Chad Hodge joins because it's going into production now.
Oh, okay.
So she is set as Laura Croft. Chad Hodge, who I don't know, joins Phoebe Waller-Bridge as co-showrunner. And then the season is starting production. I hadn't seen any pictures of her being all ripped. She doesn't strike me as Laura Croft.
I saw a couple pictures where she did this, pull the shirt up and show the abs,
Yeah, other than her being British, I don't know that I get her. I guess we're gonna have Laura Croft as a redhead-ish, maybe.
Unless they give her a wig.
Yeah, or the dye her hair, right? So we'll see. Yeah, I'll probably watch the show when it comes out. I do like Phoebe Waller-Bridge and her writing.
I like Lara Croft as a whole. So
nice. All right, that was all the news that I saw this week. That was
official. There was nothing. There's some Emmy stuff that we'll talk about next week.
Cool. So we got finale for Countdown aired this week. I've been talking about it. Apparently the ratings and reviews have not been as good for Countdown as I think the show has been. So not sure if it's going to get a season 2, which would suck because it left on a huge cliffhanger. And like I said, I've really enjoyed the show so far. So I hope that it does get picked up and it doesn't take 2 years. Amazon seems to be better at that than most for their non-sci-fi shows.
Yep.
And Countdown's a show where it's all pretty much all practical. So they shouldn't need a ton of space between shows like they did for a Wednesday. Which, 3 years between season 1 and season 2.
That's a lot.
It's a long time for a show about high school kids.
I can't believe it's been 3 years. Now, did COVID have any? No, COVID's over.
Writer's strike did.
Writer's strike. That's
but they also say it takes a long time. I don't know why. They're like, we're filming 8 movies. I was like, it's like hour episodes. So, I mean, no. You're like 4 movies, maybe. But they don't need to be. Look, the show is gorgeously shot.
Right.
The effects do look great. And there are a lot of effects that come in and out. And they do a really nice job with that. I'm sure things not easy to do because you can't be all practical.
No, I did see a behind the scenes thing where it's literally a guy with a green glove doing a lot of this, walking along stuff.
But you still have to then edit all that and
Right.
digitize, right? So like, there is still a lot of work that they have to do for those pieces. But the second half of the season, it's the season as a whole was very good. There was a lot of weak points within it, but overall, like it ended very strong and tied everything and set up season 3, which they've already been picked up for. They're saying that's going to take less than 3 years, hopefully. They're saying 2 still, which sucks. But if it's like early 27, then okay. But like late 27 is just, it's too long for a show that
Yeah.
this show is, the visual effects quality is better, but the show is basically a CW show. I mean, at its core, it's a CW show. Where they used to crank out 24 episodes a year. So like, don't tell me that it takes 2.5 years to film 8 episodes of this show.
Right.
Because they're 45 minutes to an hour. Great. CW shows were 45 minutes every week. And do I want that quality? No, but if you do 8 instead of 24 in a year, cool. Thanks.
Right.
And look, Jenna Ortega is great. The girl that plays Enid is fantastic. There is an episode where they flip bodies, and the actresses are amazing. That like you believe that the girl playing Enid has taken over Jenna Ortega's persona as Wednesday, and she nails it, and vice versa. Like, it's great. They did some really neat stuff that seemed kind of wandering in the first half, and they spent the first 4 episodes like creating all these storylines and sending all these threads all over everywhere. They did pull pretty much all of them back together, which was really well done, and well written how they brought it to the end. So I do recommend it as a whole. It probably would have been better as 1 drop instead of 2.
Right.
When they did it, because they're not really 2 separate. Like the breaking point didn't really make sense. When watching the whole thing, it would have been a better binge all at once, or drop it all at once now, so you get a little more of that Halloween hangover with it. But Wednesday was really good. And then we have Peacemaker.
Yeah.
Episode 3, season 2.
I'm loving this show. I love what they're doing with this show, and he's pulling stuff. Spoilers, by the way, if you have not watched Peacemaker episode 3 from season 2, number 1, you're missing out. Number 2, I didn't realize where they were until I did some internet digging. And I don't know a ton about it, but didn't they kind of didn't they do this in one of those Crisis crossovers, one of them Arrowverse crossovers? Didn't they go to this planet basically?
I don't think so.
Planet X?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
That was the
Nazi.
That was before
crossover.
Crisis.
Yeah, that was the Nazi crossover, basically.
Yes.
So, we get Joel Kinnaman is back in the alternate universe as Rick Flag, but he's also flashed back in the real universe as Rick Flag, where Amelia Harcourt is sleeping with him and is her only friend, and he references that he's dating June, which is the sorceress
Enchantress.
from
Enchantress.
From 2021 Suicide Squad, which isn't canon, but is canon.
No.
Parts of it are canon.
Well, Enchantress isn't in that one. She's from the 2016 David Ayers one.
Right. He references dating June and doesn't say Enchantress, but says that if he breaks up with her, she's going to blow a hole through the earth.
Right. So, but the point means that Suicide Squad, the David Ayers, did not happen.
Right. But
the Suicide Squad, which is the 2021 movie, happened.
But that there are characters from the David Ayers.
Right. From the original Suicide Squad that.
So it was cool. It was cool to watch Joel Kinnaman play a nerd in the alternate universe.
Weird though.
Weird though. Weird, but I was watching the after thing with them, and James Gunn was like, he asked him if he would do this, and Kinnaman said yeah, and he had a great time doing it. And that's cool.
Yeah, and they have a podcast too.
Yep.
That I've been listening to. That's Kinnaman was on. I didn't realize he's Swedish.
No, neither did I.
But it was interesting hearing his take on that. And even they kind of said, look, it was kind of weird to be this bumbling guy who's still an army, like a colonel.
Right. Right.
But you can't walk without bumping into stuff. Like that was a little weird.
It was.
But funny.
So we get a reference to him shipping out to Corto Maltese, and James Gunn said that he had planned this all the way back in season 1 that they were going to do this. That's why Harcourt was such an ass to Peacemaker at first, because she knew he killed her friend
boyfriend.
And Economist also.
Right.
The whole universe, I did not really pick it up until I looked something up, that there is not a single person of color in the alternate universe that Peacemaker is in right now.
I picked that up right away.
I didn't. It didn't.
Because I had a feeling ever since we did this that based on how the Peacemaker of that world treated him the minute that he saw him.
Right.
And their library, trophy room, whatever you want to call it.
Yes.
How that was set up.
I totally didn't pick up on that for some reason.
I don't know that it's Earth X specifically.
Right.
Because Earth X and that Arrowverse thing that we referenced, Earth X is one where Hitler won.
Right.
And the Nazis have taken over the world.
So
and that one they had the Uber Superman, who was on the Nazi side, which is why they won.
And Supergirl, well, on the CW version, they had Supergirl, they had Green Arrow.
Right. And a Flash. And typically in comic book lore, Earth X is a planet where Uncle Sam gathers the freedom fighters from our world, and took them to Earth X to go fight the Nazis there. It's actually some pretty amazing storytelling they do through all this freedom fighter runs, but they've had 3 or 4 different comics of that, runs of that, which were all great, with Phantom Lady and the Ray and Dollman and Human Bomb, which are all the freedom fighters from the comics. That go to Earth X for all of these things. But this is I think, it seems nice and shiny on the outside, but there's definitely there's a reason that they are the heroes, and I don't know that it's a good one.
No, and the Sons of Liberty could be the actual good guys fighting to free oppression, as opposed to being the baddies that they are in a comic book. Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff referenced. Michael Rooker's character was crazy.
Yeah, so they bring in an eagle killing expert to help the guy with bird blindness.
Red Saint Wild.
Yeah, to go after eagle. I mean, no cultural appropriation going on there at all from Rooker.
Not even a little bit.
Woo!
You don't care. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sure that's going to play into it at some point. But yeah, and you get Steve Agee, who's like, wait a minute, what? We're going to do what to Eagly?
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting how they play all that out.
And we get the return of Judo Master.
Yes. Who they say his name, Rip. Crap. What's his name? Which is correct to the comics.
I forget what I don't. Rip Jagger.
Yeah, and they're like, hey, well, we signed Rip Jagger as 8, and Economist was like, who is Rip Jagger?
He turned around in a chair. He's like, son of a bitch.
Yeah. Which is great. Look, I'm glad we brought him back, and we knew from the opening credits, right? Like, the opening credits kind of give away who's going to be a player, and I think that was a smart choice again from last year. Like, oh, is this person actually come back? Do they not come back? What do we do? And how we're going to get that through here? But yeah, I forgot how brutal that Peacemaker is.
Oh yeah,
because like honestly, Cena's range his acting's gotten so good,
right?
That you forget that like in the Suicide Squad, which isn't that long ago, like 5 years ago, right? He plays just a guy that is a brutal murderer of everything, and that's where we all expected his acting ability to stop. Because if he'd been starred the Marine and Marine 2 and Marine 3, and a wrestling guy.
So he's doing kind of like what Dave Bautista did. Dave Bautista came out and was just a a big bulky wrestler guy, and now he's actually showing range. So I'm even gonna. I hate saying this out loud, but even Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, is starting to show range. It's taken a really, really long time, but he's actually starting because now he looks to be leaving wrestling behind for good and focusing on like after this MMA movie that's coming out.
Yeah.
I mean, he got a long standing ovation, and
He also seems to have
tears.
lost a lot of bulk.
Well, he did, and that's. I mean, maybe that's going to help him. Like that's from what I understand, this movie is great.
Yeah.
But no, I'm loving what they're doing with this, and the last two, I think, episodes or the last two episodes of the season, the media wasn't allowed to see. So there's definite cameos that they don't want leaked out yet.
Right.
But then you just kind of posted a picture on Instagram of John Cena in the shirt that he's wearing in this episode with Superman, like posing for a picture with David Cornsweat in the Superman outfit.
That's fun.
Yeah. So I don't know.
We'll see where it ends up. So thanks everybody that was able to join us on a special Sunday night.
We appreciate you.
Edition. Catch us on the podcast. We'll see where next week falls with Frank's very busy hockey schedule.
Woo.
We'll see how it all works out.
Yeah.
But thanks for finding the Geek Spot. You can check me out as always at jackkidmusic.com and on all the socials. Go give a like and subscribe to Island of Relevancy so you know when that goes live this week with all these schedule things going on, and we will come at you soon. And thanks for hanging out, everybody.
Thanks.